Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sloppy Lab. This is Bottom of the Beaker, the weekly show about the design, the cats, and the strategy of Keyforge. Everyone, and I do mean everyone's favorite unique deck game. I am JT Russell. I'm going to steal this one, the wary and sneaky. How about that? And folks, I got to tell you, the weather in the old lab is crazy this evening. It is raining cats and dogs, and my guest, I should say, can tell us all about that. Welcome to the lab, catsmdogs. Welcome indeed.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And so with that intro, and I am always curious, I have to ask you how you came about your handle.
It's an old original Xbox Live username, but it was catsmdogs with an N, and it made more sense at that point. And I paused my account, and when I tried to turn it back on, they said this name is taken. I said, what? And in a fit, I just put a almost different name in there, and it made me laugh. So that's the story of Cats and Dogs.
I like the story, and I do catch myself saying cats and dogs every once in a while, and I'm like, no, it's cats and dogs. But for some reason, that just like tickles my funny bone too. So I enjoy it, and I appreciate that you roll with it, and I'm sure now you like use this across different lots of different things too.
Everywhere. Yep.
Awesome.
That's right.
Awesome. I dig it. I'm excited to have you on this evening, and this should be a lot of fun. So you were a relatively new player, if I'm not too mistaken, someone who I first encountered, at least in sort of a team setting, the last time that there was an ABR league, and I'd seen maybe a few posts from you here and there, and really liked your handle, and I was like, I'm gonna go with this guy. Seems fun. What could go wrong? And this time around, I was like, I gotta snap this guy up.
Yeah.
Somebody else takes him. So we're rolling together again. Gonna be a great season. But you're relatively new. Is that right? So about a year or so, you said.
Yeah, that's right. So GR was out, and Amber Skies was still in the game found, and I popped in and was discovering the game as fast as I possibly could. And it's really been a short amount of time, I guess, in the end, but it feels like an eternity so far, a Keyforge eternity in a good way.
Eons of the Crucible, as it were, indeed.
Yeah.
And I appreciate too that you've seemingly come to enjoy an awful lot Adaptive as a newer player, and I am finding myself, to my own enjoyment, eating my words, having gone on the Help from Future Self podcast not too long ago, where they had a pitching Keyforge series and saying, yeah, I love Adaptive. It's great. It's also going to be a tough sell for newer players, and I'm now finding newer players who are really enjoying it. And said, all right, we got to get this guy on. Let's talk about how he came to the game, and particularly how he gravitated towards Adaptive too. But yeah, that'll be in the mix for sure. So I'd love to get to it. But maybe you could just kind of like, I don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself as a gamer, like how you, everything up till like coming to find Keyforge, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. So I enjoy all kinds of games. That's board games, video games, everything under the sun, right? But I think what's kind of interesting in relation to Keyforge is I was not aware of the competitive scene for anything. I played, StarCraft and Counter-Strike and Magic the Gathering and all those things without really following competitive things or visiting any events. This is all like kitchen table Magic and playing StarCraft on LAN with friends and all that kind of stuff. So for a long time, it was, that kind of gaming. And somewhere along the way, I got more interested in, getting into the kind of competitive side in leagues now, which I'm having a blast with.
Yeah, very cool. It really is a great community. There's no question. Especially the sort of like online Discord based community. So glad that you like found that side of Keyforge. longtime Magic player, and I knew
Yeah.
too that you were a longtime Magic player. Did you start? Did you start kind of? You said in the early mid '90s. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I brought my magic joke for the stream here.
Oh, I didn't
Wooberg.
even notice that.
Yeah. Wu Tang, Wooberg. Um, yeah. So I started playing Magic in like fourth edition Ice Age. So that's pretty close to the beginning. And I mean, it's the great modern strategy game that all of our games that we love, including Keyforge, kind of are spawned from. But you know, I love the game. I love what it brings, and over the years, I sort of discovered that I love drafting and that I love Cube the most. And for folks that don't know about Cube, cubing is, you know, there's 30,000 Magic cards, but what you do is you take this curated set, and these are all like community driven, right? And you build the environment that you want to see. You kind of go grab the cards that you love and the style of play that you like, and then from this little environment, you know, you sleeve them up and put them into packs, and then pass them around with your friends and open it up and do a draft night. And the cube you sort of rebuild and tweak, and that is something that I fell in love with, kind of like designing the environment. So I did that for, I don't even, you know, some incredible number of man hours spent, you know, tweaking the cube and debating about like putting in this card and that card. Um, and so on a Magic Cubing podcast, Richard Garfield pops up as a guest. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And they inevitably talk about why people love Cube. And you get into this discussion where you say the new Magic set came out. People looked at it for 5 minutes and they went, okay, here are the only 3 cards that matter for constructed. Everything else is garbage. And well, when you play it in a kind of draft format, you see some of those other cards and they kind of come and go and then they're gone forever. And I didn't like that. I wanted to take this not most powerful card that was so interesting and I wanted to give it a home. And so building a cube lets you bring all those pieces together and create this thing where every card has a home that otherwise doesn't have a home. And on the podcast, he says, well, I designed a game once that solves that problem. It's called Keyforge. I stopped the podcast. I looked up Keyforge. I'm like, how have I never heard of this game? And there's more to the story than that, but I was instantly hooked like a bolt of lightning. I was looking for this game my whole life, and I didn't know it was here.
That's so cool. I don't think I've ever heard that story before, or had heard mention of Garfield on a Keeping podcast where he drops name drops Keyforge in that context. But that's super cool to hear, especially from me being the sort of player who cracked those new sets and looked for the 3 cards that were relevant. I've been like a long time like legacy vintage player. I'm like, okay, is there anything here? Like, no, okay, move on. But I do love Cube, and like that's such a cool corollary. Wow. That's super cool. And I love too for Cube. I had one cube that I made myself, and it was sort of an imbalanced one where intentionally some colors were overrepresented, right? Kind of. If you remember Torment, I don't know if you were kind of drafting Torment days where you're like, all right, everybody's playing black,
Everybody's playing black,
but like to what extent? And so that was kind of the imbalance that I was going for. But I love that there is this like, similar to regular deck building, there's this element of expression and artistry into crafting your cube.
Indeed.
And what you're going to evoke from the composition, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
Indeed. And then Keyforge comes along and says, no, we're not going to do any of that. Here's a deck. Figure out what it can do. That's amazing. Figure out what it can do. Explore this deck. Learn what it does well. And there's nothing more fun than opening a deck and seeing some cards and combos you like and go, I'm going to sit down and play this, but then still being surprised about what you do and don't want to do with the cards in this deck that is so incredibly special. And then extend that to, top tier Archon play. And you see players going head to head in the Crucible at the Vault Tour, but then they've got this like, underdog, terrible card in their deck, and they make the play and they squeeze the value out of it, and it gets to shine on stream that day. And all of that is like this like beating heart of Keyforge. That's amazing and irreplaceable by any other game. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't have said it better. I love that sentiment. And one of the things that really attracted me to Keyforge initially was having that sort of feeling that you got when you first started playing a game like Magic, and you like didn't have four of every card that you wanted to put in your competitive deck, and you're just like, I'm gonna scrap these cards together and play the card that like I've got to fill out the deck just so I can make it work. And then at game time, all right, everybody, not everybody's an all-star, but you got to pull your weight to make this happen, sort of a thing.
Yes, and that's why draft is so much fun, right? Is that you every deck is starting with the best stuff that you can pull, and then you're getting into the middling cards, and then you're getting into the I need a couple more filler cards, so you put them in, and there's a lot you can do with that. But it's so wonderful.
I can't play like 21 lands, can I? We need something to come in here.
It might be better than putting this card in my deck. That is true.
Yeah, funny. Oh, that's super interesting comments in the chat. Appreciate that. So Albino Cheese Munting is saying they found Magic after Keyforge. I don't know if I found too many people in that camp.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And welcome into the chat, I should say. Albino Cheese Monkey, Dead Sync, absolutely a quick draw from behind the counter. Come on, man. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. So I love that. Yeah, I've done some Cube. I enjoyed it a lot. Long time drafter, but really was gravitated towards some of the like Eternal formats. And coincidentally enough, I think I started playing Magic in '94. Like it was like revised Ice Age. You might have still seen like Arabian Nights on the shelves or something, but maybe.
It's been a fun journey to kind of see that game evolve too, and there's a lot of lessons you can pull from that as well. I mean, maybe that's a topic for another day, but. That's
super cool. So that sparked your interest in Keyforge. It grabbed your interest, and you've kind of been latched on.
Yeah. I ordered a couple decks and just learned how to play at my kitchen table myself, playing both sides. And I went, I need two from every expansion. Those came, checked it out a little bit more, and I went, where do I go next? And that's part of the story of my journey here, which is I wasn't on Discord, and I didn't know where any of these communities were, right? And I didn't know much about like what's happening with Keyforge. I think I found the subreddit and started asking a couple questions. And at some point, I can't remember exactly how, but I think Sunday's the kind soul who like found me somewhere and went, "Hey, let me invite you to a couple of Discords." And I, sort of found my way to more of the community, and I could kind of interact and chat and see what was happening and just learn more about events that were happening. So the Martian Civil War was the first in-person Keyforge that I played. And that was a couple months, maybe 3 months after I had kind of first discovered it. And I had a great time. Dead Sync says Keyforge has Discords. Yes, it was huge for me finding everybody so I could finally have someone to talk about it.
Yeah. It turns out there are one or two Discords. But you're really getting past that second or third one's hard to really track them down. Yeah, running joke in the like online community. Everybody's got the same list of like 20 Discord servers on their sidebar.
Yep.
I love it. So that's cool. So that pulled you in. I won't say dragged you in. We'll definitely drag in the new players who seem to show interest, enthusiasm for the game. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Welcome, Uberito. Awesome to see you on the show, Catsmdogs. Absolutely. And I see Riku in the chat too. Riku's been saying quiet. He's a little mad at me because I think he was hoping to scoop you up, which was how I found out actually that you were a Swindle member, which I didn't know before the last ABR draft. So congrats on joining up with the Swindle folks. They are a good group. Well, maybe excepting that Riku character. I don't know.
Yes, indeed. No, that's been a really exciting thing for me. So, well, let me hop back a second. Amber Skies comes out. All kinds of amazing things are happening, and the vault tours are leading up to KFC. And I'm learning to. I know just enough Keyforge to watch on the stream and go like, "Oh, this is amazing." Um, and somewhere around there, oh, actually, Archon's Corner sealed. That was a way for me to start joining some online events, and that was awesome. And I was able, out of my like 12 decks, I became like 13, 14. So big shout out to the, Dr. Sheep on Sunday and Lokakar on Wednesdays. That was a fantastic thing to kind of meet some people, play, improve and kind of, you know, see more things. And that was wonderful. And then so somewhere along the way, it was like, okay, now I found the community servers, but there are these leagues. Okay, that's interesting. KTL, I don't, that's not something I can join, right? Like NKFL, that's not something I can join. I don't have any Archon decks, but so there were. It was fun to like learn about things like ABR, and like you said, that I was on your team in the first season of ABR, my first season of ABR, and it was such a blast. It was fantastic, all the different formats and sharing decks so that we could kind of like talk and strategize, but then also people can kind of like find their different roles for the week and we would all divide it up. And that was amazing. So that was huge. And somewhere after having kind of gotten my feet wet, got into, this league and that league, I got a message from Karen, and am I interested in joining Swindle? And that was it was awesome and amazing. And then I could kind of take the discussion to the next level and practice with people. And hey, Riku, will you destroy me? Like pull out V and really give me a run for my money, so I can see what I can do. So I've been enjoying that very much.
Yeah, very cool. And your mission now, should you choose to accept it, right, is to determine the correct pronunciation for "Am I bluffing?" Right, "Bluffing," as it were.
Yeah, me bluffing? Am I bluffing? So I will go ask and then get it right. So I'll help spread the correct pronunciation.
Excellent. Although they may prefer to stay shrouded in mystery. I don't know.
True.
Yeah. But very cool. And yeah, it's funny that I've never myself been to any of the AC sealed events, and I love to rib Dr. Sheep, especially when it relates to keychain things and recording, or Dark Tidings. I'm sure there's not been very many Dark Tidings drafts in AC sealed events, but yeah, fun. So that's cool. That's cool that you found your way to kind of those groups, great groups of folks and ambassadors of the game for sure.
Yeah, and what I would add is when new players discover Keyforge and they haven't gotten to the nexus of the Keyforge community, how can we find them and pull them in? I don't know the answer to that, but I didn't know what I was doing and I was bumbling around. So if anybody's got good ideas for that, let's help them. Let's help them, find this like town square where Keyforge really goes up a notch in enjoyment, or tenfold.
Mm-hmm. And it's so true, and what a great point. I mean, and you're a shining example of this. But how many players are there out there not playing Keyforge yet, or maybe casually who could be brought kind of closer in? But I don't know. We've got to do a better job of just kind of advertising or getting kind of the word out there that's maybe still a game, or is a game again. I don't know. Or folks may have written it off kind of hiatus times and not realize that it's back in the mix. But to have this game that's like a great match for you, and then only learn of it through sort of this name drop on a Cube podcast is like, yeah, we got to get the word out there. We got to get the word out there.
If I'd have known, I've been playing with you all these years. I guarantee it.
Right on. Well, glad to have you now for sure. So cool, very cool. So all right, that's how you made your way in. And I'm curious too. There's been a big I don't know. Have you found it hard to like grapple with like old sets versus new sets, or you kind of feel like It hasn't been too hard to kind of jump in kind of, let's call it midstream. If you imagine jumping into a game like Magic now and trying to get into Legacy or Vintage, that's a daunting effort.
It is. It is. But I guess a comparison that we can draw to Magic is if you pick a format and you just start playing it, there's going to be 3 to 5 meta decks. You will bump into them over and over and over again. And at some point, you will learn this card pool of 200 cards with things on the fringes, and you'll be able to kind of go from there. And that's, that's something. I would say for the first 9 months of playing Keyforge, every single game of Keyforge, I'm being presented with new cards, and not just like a couple new cards, but many new cards. So I'm constantly reading on TCO everything that's happening. And that was a challenge, and not a challenge that turned me off, but a challenge that made me realize like, I have to learn the card pool that's one of the axes that I will be growing in this game. And so some formats like Sealed, and we all open Amber Skies, and I've done that a few times in a row, and I'm starting to kind of recognize cards, was one thing. And then I pop over to Kagi, and man, who was in my pod? Like Captain Gale and Kalos, and everybody's like steamrolling me with Worlds Collide and DT. I'm like, it's not just I haven't seen most of these cards, but that they picked a tricky deck and add all the things on top of it. And so I'm doing my best. And let me say, Keyforge as a game, again, like Magic, there's the 3 meta decks, and you've won and lost against that deck 10 times, 20 times in a row. And you go, I'm losing this game. But you sit down to a game of Keyforge and you're getting flattened. But it's a brand new show. What is this thing that is crushing me? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I love that move that you used to beat me 3 keys to 0. And there's something about that just there's a detachment from. I still want to win, and I'm still going to compete, but we're enjoying both decks together as we go. That keeps me wanting to get incrementally better. So yes, in Kagi, I had quite a challenge with, wow, there are so many sets and I don't know any of them. And how do I even start here?
I have to just say, I think you embodied the enthusiasm for discovery that Garfield was hoping to capture with this game. I'm sure. So that was beautifully said. Nice. Super cool. Are you still kind of a long-time Magic player, or do you find that kind of that repetitive meta grind wore off on you? I mean, I still love playing Magic. I don't play it as much, so I'm not saying that as we have to poo-poo this game or whatever. Just curious.
No. So I have my beloved cubes, and I will keep all of them forever. And I'm always happy to kind of break them out. I have this set of 32 decks that are intentionally constructed like a battle box. You can grab any 2 of them and play. Yeah. And that is my friend who comes over who plays Magic, and we just pull something out and play. So there's this Magic's waiting over here, and I'll continue to enjoy it. But this can be a thing we share more in some other thing, but I designed some games of my own, and I put a couple out there, self-published and stuff, and I like to kind of just read a rule book of a new board game and never maybe even play it, and just sort of enjoy what a game is presenting to you. And there's something so wonderful about a game with a 3-page rule book that's as deep as Twilight Imperium, that you have to read an entire novel to understand it, right? And what I love so much about Keyforge is Richard Garfield, essentially pondered what he liked and didn't like about Magic, and he went back to it and said, look, we only need 4 card types. We only need only the active player makes all the decisions. There's a bunch of super interesting things that are slimming down the rules, but not making it a simple game that is trivialized in any way. And that's something that strikes me super like deeply about I enjoy this so much more. And then when I go back and you have to kind of, if you've ever, like, I do not know the magic layer rules. And when you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, I actually don't know what happens here, it comes up too much. And there's too much of the like really strong decks that depend on kind of this like loophole that allows you to, oh, you would think, but you can actually get that card back because before it touches the discard, the graveyard, blah, blah, blah. And so that gravitates me back to Keyforge over and over again, honestly.
I like that. There's sort of an elegance and beauty in the simplicity, which is, you know, this like, a little bit cliche, but you say like seconds to learn, lifetime to master sort of a thing. You can trim away some things, but not make the game any less deep, and you end up with still something that's beautiful and rich, and gives you a deep, fulfilling experience. Totally. And I love this idea too of having the like decks that you've pre-selected in 32. Holy moly, that's incredible to like battle against each other. I think this is a great way to have Keyforge ready to go for your friends who are going to come over and play, and maybe they know Keyforge, maybe they don't. Teach them. It's cool. But have 8 decks, 4 decks even, 8 decks set aside that are like handpicked to battle amongst themselves. And the beauty of that too is they don't need to all be great. They don't need to all be terrible. You can find a sweet spot. You can make them, find an interesting deck that you want to give a chance to shine, and then pick seven friends that can hang with it. And then you've got kind of a battle box set that's ready to rumble. And it doesn't matter that, none of them is going to win a Vault Tour. And it's kind of, I don't know, Keyforge I've always found is in this like in between space of like, board game and traditional CCG kind of game space. And I think, taking a little bit of that board game mentality and say, oh, I'm actually going to box these these decks together, and they're going to rumble amongst each other, and you have this sort of more contained, curated experience, which I mean maybe resonates with you too as a cube aficionado. Yeah,
it does. My Keyforge battle box is downstairs, and ooh, some old friends of we kind of a board game group. A couple were back in town and a couple are still nearby but far away, and we all converged at my place. And I said, look, let me teach you this game. And I pull out some Keyforge and all the bits and bobs, like here are like the burger tokens and the keys, and they're picking them up, and the tactile part is like pleasing, and like the proof is in the pudding. I had them just draw an opening hand and start playing, and I explained the card types as we went, and by the end of it, they didn't need me. And they were like reaping out and playing actions and having a great time. So I fully agree. And, if maybe that's something that we need to tune a little bit more. Like, yeah, what are your battle boxes? Like, what are your ways to like kind of showcase Keyforge and just give people a chance to, maybe try it, maybe like it.
Totally. And I mean, I think there's room for something like that in sort of a competitive sphere as well. I mean, you could imagine showing up to the top tables at a Vault or a World Championship event, and it's like, all right, here's the everybody gets a list of 8 decks, and you've got 10 minutes to review them, and then you got to draft the decks or something like that. I don't know.
That's kind of wild. Yeah, that's like interesting that I can't bring my like 1 in a billion Archon deck to the event ahead of time.
Indeed, and well. We will segue maybe to some adaptive things in a little bit, but I have to ask you, put you on the spot here, because you hinted earlier on that you're like, oh, I'm going to have my 2 decks from every set, and that's going to be great. How many decks are you up to at this point? You caught the bug, I'm sure. What's the damage?
Yeah. So I'm in the like 300 range, but there's a caveat to that. I didn't go buy them all. In some of those cases, so let's talk about the minors league for a second. I love the minors league, where am I right that you wrote the RAA bot, the like roll me a pick a deck from my DOK collection?
It's so funny. So yeah, a little bit about JT here. I've been building software for like close to 2 decades or whatever, and my like most beloved thing that I've made is a glorified random number generator.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's so simple, but it's so awesome. Like, roll me a deck in my collection, and but we have to play 60 to 65 SAS. And
Mhm.
when I heard about that one, I was like, oh, somebody invite me to that one. I got to join that one. So I joined it, and I knew like 3 weeks in I had a problem. I have one deck under 50 or under 55. So I started going around to the discords like, hey, is anybody willing to just give me some stinkers? Like, will you give me some like old decks? And apparently that there's a lot of people who are willing to do that. And um, Quick Draw sent me, not just digitally but physically, like a batch of quote unquote stinkers. And I was like, the stinkier the better. Like, I want them as low as you got them. I don't have any 40s. I need some 40s, so I can have a couple 40s. I don't know if they exist. I think they do, right? 48s.
In the before
But
times, from the before times.
but I need to. My DOK collection needs like, I need stuff at all the rungs, for minors league. So that was great, and shout out to J Philip Peg, who also goes. I was like, I need to learn MM. I need to learn Worlds Collide, and he's like, I'll give you so many decks. So he sent me this like incredible the codes so that I could scan them or whatever. Like so many. So that was awesome, and I
Nice,
took them up on
nice.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so the digital library is getting built out as well, as it were.
It is
Excellent.
between scooping up, like filling out the old ones, and happily buying the new sets and exploring them for sure.
Awesome, cool. So, are you kind of like backfilled through Coda, or not quite?
I am. So I've opened. I got a number of Coda and the AOAs for 20. I've gotten, I don't even know how many, 4 or 5 displays of AOA. So I enjoyed cracking those and playing, 2 decks at a time myself. I understand, like, I enjoyed on Help from Future Self, where they went back and forth on the solo play, and I vibe with that. I love that. I love taking decks and sort of exploring them and sorting through a whole bunch and then finding the ones that are gems. And then I set them aside and I take notes on like all my decks in a spreadsheet. And I'm like, oh, this one's super fun. And then when it comes time to hop on TCO or just have a friendly game or have an adaptive game, then I go through my spreadsheet and I go, oh yeah, that one's awesome. Oh, that one's a fun one, and pull from that. So like the solo lets me explore many decks, and then I kind of have these other ones kind of pulled out and tagged so that I can grab them for other stuff.
Oh, so that's super cool. So you're using the solo play to kind of explore even the stinkers, as it were, not just kind of like to hunt for
Yeah.
your best deck in the collection. Battle for the top sort of a thing. That's cool. And you're playing a lot of solo games to begin with today, like still going.
Solo is really good for me in a life matchup way, because when my young kids interrupt me constantly, I can stand up and walk away and help them or play with them or do whatever, and then go back and pick up my game later. And so then I won't leave my opponent on TCO hanging. And it's nice to do the leagues and have the one match per week so I can just carve out that time, play that game. But then it's the solo games I can fit in all over the place and just kind of just leave them sitting there.
Totally. I would love to see. I mean, we were talking on some of the various discords that it were. I think it was the Sanctimonious one about enhancements to TCO, potential enhancements to TCO that could make it either
Yeah.
more beginner friendly or just more pleasing experience. Among list, if I were being selfish, I would love to see some sort of like async modes, or like I don't know if you're a chess player at all, but you'll play a game against a random opponent or a friend, and it's like one move per day or one move per 3 days, and it's like you got to make your move within
Oh,
a daytime span or else you lose, sort of a thing. And that's kind of the long clock, and I would love to see Keyforge time controls. But I don't do solo play as much in that fashion, but do play by post games with Not Tonight a fair bit, where I'll
Yeah.
have a game set up, she'll have a game set up, and we'll take pictures back and forth to share the game state, which is pretty fun. And then that's
Very cool.
You have a moment to sit down, you can meld in, but that's cool. But I feel you on the lifestyle one. Yeah, it's tough to like get these games scheduled, and you're like, all right, I need to jam this out before somebody wakes up or
That's right.
something.
I'm on the clock here. We got to go.
Nice.
Yes.
So minor league is a lot of fun. That's cool you found it. And your teammate Algernon, along with Not Tonight, I think, are running the show there now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
Cool. We'll put a link to the Minors League server in the show notes for anybody who wants to hop in there with you. Absolutely. I did the league there for a long time, and like had to like take stock of how many leagues I was in, because I was like over my skis. Yeah, but I
think 2 at a time is my limit.
So you got minors in ABR, or do you have another one going at the moment?
Minors is done. ABR and Kagi. I'm wrapped up for Kagi. My pod phase is done. So am I just doing the one right now? I think. Yeah. ABR.
I think I'm with you. I'm done with Kagi as well now. I'm now in the cheering squad, and yeah, looking forward to this ABR season. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We have a cool team.
Oh yeah,
I think we have a lot
Me
of fun
too.
folks. Very cool. Sweet. And all right, so I do want to get back to what sort of drew you to adaptive in particular, because I don't know. I maybe posited initially that it was not going to be a format that very new players would gravitate towards, and you are, living proof to the contrary, at least in some examples. So, Riku in the chat saying KTL is coming this time.
Yeah,
sign up.
And you have to sign up.
All right, I will leave. I've got one league going right now. I'll leave my other spot available, but I will say this, and I love KTL. I love team leagues. I think that team formats are a great way to enjoy Keyforge and to smooth over some of maybe the variance that you'd have in a single person setting.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of in a lifestyle where you're maybe budgeting to kind of 2 leagues at a time, the best of 3 leagues come at a premium cost as well.
Very true.
Yeah. But I will leave a spot open for you, Rico, and for KTL, and that should be a lot of fun. And you did, if I'm not mistaken, KTL the previous season with a fellow Wrecking Ball.
Tink Fun and Atlantis, and we jumped in KTL, and I would say that was my first run at trying to go into the high competitive setting, and I didn't think that this would happen, but I ended up in the Archon slot. And actually, I can tell the short story of I brought some unopened Keyforge with me to visit my parents in Colorado for Christmas, and some of my siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and so some of us were all there. And I said, let me show you this game, Keyforge, and on Christmas Day, I'm going to open some up. And I opened Villa Shot, which is currently the highest SAS deck on decks of Keyforge. It is an alpha gamma deck, and every card in the deck says archive, or there's a bunch of cards that purge, and it's super fun to play. It's a very special deck. Right there, Villa Shot. And I played this in KTL, and I did manage to get a couple of wins. SAS is just a number at the end of the day. It's definitely not the strongest deck in existence or anything, but it has so many token makers. It is there are some games with this deck that are a joy to see, the engine just humming. And for the decks that hate to see purge, I've instilled fear in some people with this one. But yeah, that was very fun.
This is fun, and I looked at the quick and dirty list of our team collection for ABR, and noticed that that you had the deck at the top top spot sorted by SAS. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is pretty spicy, and I like the double Forgotten Guardian with Beta Forge.
Yes.
I don't know how often you get to play or make multiple Beta Forge keys in a game, but that's super fun.
Beta Forge purges itself, but honestly, it's so much the matchup. If they've got Archive Hate, you're not doing that, but it's no drawback at all. Like if you're archiving 3-4 cards a turn and you're picking them up every time and you're just having big turns, like you get to a spot where you're holding half your deck in your hand and you're never redrawing anything, but you're still moving. And this deck is definitely special. It does some special things, but it has weaknesses, and there's a lot of ways that you can just punch a hole right through it, and that's okay too. But
so it's a lot of fun. You're not scrapping the Guardian that often to get a purge card back, or is that like a thing that just doesn't come up often?
To do Beta Forge, I think to do Beta Forge specifically, that would be a pretty long loop. So it'd have to be a game where you're in it for the long haul. Like I played a lot of games. Like I was up against B-Hawk and KTL, and the purging didn't matter because he was going to key cheat, key frog like 75% of the way through the deck. And it didn't matter like that I got a red line or whatever it is that I got. Right. So I guess I could see that. I haven't been in that game before, but in the games where you do Beta Forge, it's like you start building up an archive, and you're doing things like the decks that self-purge a house, so you're only left with the other two houses, except that you've got it all in the archive. So you're like, you're going to forge a key off Beta Forge, and then a turn after that, if there's still game to play, you're going to pick it all up in your hand and just have some like monster turn after that. If they let you, of course.
Totally. And I don't know if Miggy is watching or listening, but I'm sure he's drooling over this deck right now because it looks super fun. He does enjoy his alpha gammas.
It is super
look
fun.
at that. Oof, 22 on the token generation score.
Yes.
Yeah. This thing's going to vomit out tokens and build up massive archives. Super cool.
It's really fun.
That's fun. And yeah, fun to be king of SAS land. I don't know.
I took my screenshot. So then when we revise the, SAS and it falls off, like, it was for a moment in time.
That's fun. That's funny. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, we I don't know, diverged a little bit from what drew you to adaptive there a little bit, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But
cool. So I would definitely your comment about adaptive not being a great experience for new players, I'm fully bought into. I must be a weirdo, or there's a few of us out there, but maybe not many. But when I kind of understood, what adaptive was, I knew that it was going to be my go-to. I knew it was going to be my format. There are just too many decks. We're right here. We're looking at the top of the SAS ladder, and there are just too many decks in the middle and the tail and all these gems that I fall in love with, and they're interesting and they're unique, and it's not just about like, what am I going to win Kagi with? It's like, what am I going to bring that's going to make my opponent laugh? And then we're both going to enjoy a match where we're still trying to win, but we're cracking up about this like insane Curse Relic deck, or I have a favorite Rebel token deck that has 3 clone homes, and it's not a particularly strong deck, but it does silly, fun stuff. And, that one's always a joy to play with and all that kind of stuff. So, like, adaptive is where you say, we're not just keeping these in our battle boxes. Like, there's something to do with these. And I just find that so much more interesting than, I love Archon. I'll play Archon. I think it's cool, but I would like this to exist side by side, and it draws me in. Did some people say like they hate the chain bidding? And I made this comment about like, I would love it if we just played best of one and we skipped to chain bidding from the get-go, and I really enjoy that part. So maybe that's another thing that some personalities are, if that sounds fun to you, then you're going to love this. It's like adaptive is where you want to be.
Right on. And yeah, it must be some like, I don't know, extra brain wrinkle or missing brain wrinkle. I'm not sure which way it goes. But maybe this is how it is for you, but you trick yourself into be like, no, this is a place where we figure out how to make the most of our resources, and having fewer, it means different and interesting challenges. And if you can like have that be the way that your mind is sees that, as opposed to oh, I'm just playing less Keyforge, then you can have extra fun doing it. Totally.
Indeed.
Totally. All right, sweet. I like it. I love the outlook there, and I totally agree with the like. Maybe it's not the the format to pitch the new player on, but especially if you're coming in from a background in gaming, it's a format that you really want to know exists after you've played a few games of Archon as a brand new player. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Right. When I had my 30 deck collection, and I really, really early on, when I had to like order 2 decks from every expansion moment, I thought, I'm going to do a search for competitive Keyforge podcasts. And what I want to see is if it exists and what are people talking about. Like, I'm just going to grab a couple episodes and listen to what they talk about. And I found Nordic Keyforge League podcast, and I listened to some episodes, and I loved what they were talking about. I loved that they were talking about kind of the actual league itself, and then at the same time they were talking about we love like SaaS capped events and like what all the drawbacks, and I mean, we're like touching on the reasons like you love that adaptive and minors league exists, but in just a couple listens I went there, oh, there's something really interesting here. But as I went along in my journey and I said like, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that, like Hexad and NKFL is always out there, and that's something that I still consider is like maybe I'll try that someday, but at the moment I can't get there. But adaptive, I have so many decks. The bench is so deep, I'll never play them all. Like all the ones that I would love to like take a swing in adaptive.
Well, you may get a taste this ABR season too with the Hexad -2 format.
Right.
Could be pretty fun. That's cool. I love the outlook, and I love the perspective on that. So yeah, I'd love to hear it. Absolutely. Like totally embodies the like great things about the format and the joy that you can find in it. Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, love to be wrong on new players coming in and enjoying it right off the bat. Awesome. I wanted to touch on something too, and this is something that you built and I've been enjoying playing with, and I've seen other folks on other servers enjoying playing with, the Keyforge Artbot. Can you like just tell us what it is, tell us what inspired you to make it, and then tell us how good you are at it personally?
Okay. So the Keyforge Artbot plays a game with you. You add it to a server, and when you at the bot, you can say nothing and it will start a game, but you can also put in some options. And then what it does is it grabs some art from a Keyforge card, and depending on the options, it'll take a bigger or a smaller little clip of the art. So if you're like Ultimo Fox, I'm going to call out, is one of our players who it can like play on super micro mode, and Riku also, they need it to be really hard and challenging. And so you look at the art and you start typing your guess. So you think, you take a guess and the bot's like, no, that's not it. You take another guess. No, that's not it. And then you can type out, give me a hint, and it'll tell you this is like from House Probnar. And at some point you can just say give up, and then it'll show you what it was. And then you at the bot again, and you can like keep playing as you go. So this was somewhere in my kind of, I don't know, first 6 months of Keyforge, and I'm confronted by the amount of Keyforge card pool I do not know. And I thought that this would be a fun thing to make so that I could get better at recognizing Keyforge cards. And I gravitated to my early TCO experience where just to kind of fit things on the screen, I've got the half cards and the cards are all there. And I did read them when they came out, but I lost track of what was what. And I thought like, okay, this will be something that will help me and it will be fun and I can share it with the community. And so I went and built the thing. And it turns out I am pretty bad at the Keyforge art bot. There are so many cards that I can regurgitate every detail except the art. And apparently I'm not alone. I won't call anybody out, but there's a few people who have kind of confessed, like, I've played this card 1,000 times and I've never looked at the art and I had no idea that that's what that was. I'm getting better. I can do okay with some rarities in like Amber Skies. I could probably do the best on Amber Skies personally, but yeah, I put it out there, and I'm glad that for some people, I didn't know what kind of reaction I was going to get, and for some people, they messaged me and said, "This is amazing. I'm going to install this on my own server, and I'm playing with my friends, and this is so very cool." So I'm happy for that. I had no idea how it was going to go, and I'm going to keep putting in kind of like the new main sets as they come out, and some of the like side sets, but probably not everything, like the Vault Masters and so on. But yeah, it's there if you want to try it and take it for a spin.
Cool. So sweet. This is a Discord bot, and I'll put the link to install it in the show notes too for anybody who's listened to this and wasn't sure where to get it. You can check the show notes and find it there. And I've been having ton of fun playing with it. Yeah, both on my personal server and also on the sloppy server. So very cool. Where we had to iron out some permissions, I guess, but I figured out what it was. We have some just weird role restrictions on who can see channels. So I think it was totally on our end. We just were like, oh, don't let new people see the channels until they've agreed to the terms or something like that. We were playing not very nice with your bot, but
Riku in the chat mentions he's recommended features that he's waiting on. So yeah, I have to get those updated, and then we'll put out an update.
Yeah. Check the history there, Quick Draw. Check the history, my guy. Check the history. Quick Draw trying to roll retcon there. Okay.
Yeah.
Riku, what's the top feature? We'll get catsmdogs to agree to it live.
Oh, yeah. So
on the spot.
Yeah, he asked for a mode where you say like, you launch it and it goes like starting in 3, 2, 1, and then multiple players can sort of race to get the right answer first. And I think we can make that one happen. So,
it's like a competitive mode between folks or something.
Some of the play groups, most of the play groups that I've sort of joined and sort of witnessed are casually laughing and having fun at it and taking turns guessing. But we definitely need a mode that's like party mode where 3 or 4 folks are going to like race for it and see how well they do.
I like that. And I'm sure somebody's asked for a scoreboard. Show me a big old scoreboard.
It doesn't maintain any state beyond like the game, and then it ejects from memory, but we can do a scoreboard on the kind of the session that it runs or whatever. And yeah, we'll see. We'll come up with something.
Nice. Well, don't let the mice ask for too many cookies,
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well, I've been enjoying it, and I've certainly found that while I thought I had a great mental model for the different arts of the cards, I have an awfully hard time telling the difference between generic medieval looking knight number one and generic medieval knight
Yes.
looking two, and some of the sanctum cards. I'm like, oh, that's a knight. It could be a spirit. It's gonna be one of these ones, and that's been like trickier for me than I thought it would be. I don't know. So
Same with
I've been
Martians.
same with
Same with
Martians.
Equidon.
Mm-hmm. Equidon, I feel like I'm pretty good with. Martians, I had one that really surprised me. I had Mars Needs Amber, which I'm like, I've played that card 1,000 times, and
Yep.
felt like I knew what the art looked like, but maybe it was a micro one where you just see a little piece of the artwork. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this looks like a dark elf thing. And oh nope, it's Mars Needs Amber.
Must be
Okay,
shadows. Yeah.
I see shadows. Yeah, so that's been fun. And the other one that's been tripping me up. So yeah, distinguishing between Sangam Knights and distinguishing between reanimated piles of detritus has been tricky. So like this is a Geistoid reanimated junk pile
Oh yeah.
of some flavor. Yeah. Nice. Nice. My link doesn't work for you, Quick Draw. A likely
Mm,
story. A likely story. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's been a lot of fun to play with, and I hope folks are enjoying it out there in Crucible Land too.
indeed.
Cool. Well, gosh, I don't know, cats and dogs. Anything else we want to touch on before maybe we play ourselves a little game? Hear a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Excellent. Well, folks, this episode of Bottom Beaker was brought to you by Tangy Mangoes, the hauntingly good dried mango snack that keeps your spirits high and your pack light while you trek the shifting wilds of the Crucible. Bursting with zesty sweetness and just enough chew to keep you mindful of every bite, Tangy Mangoes are the perfect trail companion, no matter which Archon's path you follow. Tangy Mangoes, taste the adventure. And thanks once again to Arlie for putting us in touch with this week's sponsors. Arlie's been coming up big with us on the sponsor side for Bottom Beaker. Thanks so much. Cats and dogs, do you ever feel like you could use some tangy mangoes on the old trail, as it were?
I love tangy mangoes. Big fan.
Awesome. And folks, I want to let you know too that Bottom of the Beaker is recorded live on Wednesday evenings at 9:30 Eastern Time right here at twitch.tv/sloppylabwork. You can find recordings of our past shows and other streams over at youtube.com. We are at sloppylabwork over there. And for the very best content, 34? No, 57 times distilled and scraped from the bottom of the beaker. Search for that very phrase in your podcatcher of choice. And we'll be there to jam some games with cats and dogs and you. Absolutely. All that more at sloppylabwork.com. And cats and dogs, do you have any words for folks getting off in the final audio stop?
Just stay sloppy.
Excellent. Stay sloppy indeed. Sweet. Excellent. I am going to cut the Zencaster recording. There we go. Excellent. And awesome. Cool. So, how are you feeling? Feeling up for a game? That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, indeed. Let's do it.
Excellent. So we'll do a cube draft naturally.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to put you on the spot, but I do want to put in the show notes some links to the games that you mentioned you had published. If you're so willing, to share, I am very curious.
I many years ago a site came out called the Game Crafter, and they do print on demand. So you kind of design your game, upload all the assets, and you say like, this side's board with this image and these plastic pieces from the catalog and all that stuff. And then, your game is like ready for sale, and then you kind of, do something with it from there in terms of advertising. And the two that I'll share with you here. here and here. That's funny. The price in the store, I think, has like gone up on its own over time. Huh. Maybe components get more expensive, so they have to, or something. I don't know. Um, so let me just drop these here. One of them is an abstract strategy game, and one of them is a card game, clearly inspired by Magic. But I gave myself a design constraint of what is the absolute minimum amount of components that I can make an interesting strategy game out of. And I came up with 20 cards, end of story. And what they get used for, like they get, you're both using them from a deck, and you're actually using like the front side and the other side, and cards like do one thing at this part in the game, and then later in the game you flip them over as the damage deck, and all this stuff is happening, and you're using one to like track the damage and the shields on the other one and all this whatever. I really like how that one came out. And then so these ones are the way I would describe them as like being successful is out of the hundreds and hundreds of games that I've designed and the many dozens that I've prototyped, a bunch of them are not that much fun. And then some of them, many of them are not fun. They seem fun, and then you play them and they're not fun. But the ones where like I showed them to somebody and they played and they were like, I want to play that again. And even in like, it's kind of like garbage, like hand-drawn first version, it was like kind of resonating with people. Like I would say that these are my two games that far and away people enjoyed. And there's some other ones, but these were the ones that were worth kind of working more on. And it was cool.
Very cool. I do enjoy hearing about, I don't know, game design generally, and maybe there are some, I don't know, lessons learned from your efforts there that could be, carried forward to Keyforge in some way. So maybe we'll have to have you on at some point to talk through these, and we'll take a small cut of any sales that you make. Naturally. Naturally, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna check these out. So thanks for sharing, and if you're cool, yeah, I'll put them in the show notes for sure.
Yeah.
Strategy game players. Looks sweet. All right, well, sweet. I'll look it up. Look through it some more, but appreciate that. And all right, you know what you want to play for an adaptive short game?
I guess I played Barbara Sweeting all through this Kagi, so I'll let that one be. Maybe Wildcat, or I thought it would be interesting to do PV because I don't know how to assess PV, so that'll be kind of a challenge.
Nice. I should. Riku's saying we should play a few rounds of Artbot on stream. Maybe we should do one just to.
Oh, sure.
Just to just to show everybody that we've got. Is there a good way to do stream delay handicap? Let's see. I wonder if I can do this without messing up my layout too much. Bum 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 bum. Okay.
The story on Barbara Sweeting is QuickDraw sent me a batch of stinkers and a sealed DT. And he said, he left a note like, save this and we'll both open and play some sealed DT together. And that was super fun. And when he when it was time to go and rip them, we decided to do it totally blind sealed and not even look at our own lists. So sometime when we get a chance to like check back in with it, when you look at the card list there, seeing them pop up as you go that is a fun deck to play and go, oh, phase shift. Oh my goodness. Together or whatever is the one that lets you go like out of house. And so these like big wacky turns were a lot of fun.
I dig it. All right, so I've got my ready to hit the enter button to add the Keyforge art bot. I'm in the thread on the Sloppy Labworks server.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think Riku is ready to like snipe our art bot here. So
Can we put Coda at least and like make it a specific set, or you just want to go? You want to do the whole card pool? Okay, let's do it. The whole card pool.
Or Coda. Coda's works too. Let's see.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever done just Coda before. All right, let's see. Sanctum Knight. Oh, dang.
I don't know what that is. Look at what they're holding. This weapon, this thing on the left is kind of distinct.
Oh, inspiration was my guess. Yeah, the weapon's kind of
Is
distinct.
it an action?
Unstun all creatures. Oh, is it a rare? Is that rare that unstuns things? I don't even remember the name of that card. I know the one you mean. Yep. Not blind light. Wow, this is embarrassing.
Unstun?
Yeah. No, I wasn't going for the. But there is an unstun creatures. I think it's a rare. I honestly don't know the name off the top of my head.
It has LEA in it.
Yeah, Sanctum. Clear Mind.
Here it is a rare.
Okay, you got it, Riku. Dang, that guy's good. That guy's good.
He's good.
Riku just wanted to flex for us. Right,
I know. He's
AOA. This is AOA.
Oh, okay. AOA.
All right, one more. We'll do AOA. Hopefully, this is not going to be a card that shows up in Left Coulomb, so that we have a chance. Oh, okay. It's one of the Pampakas. I always mix up Enga and Jaga. I think that's the Jaga or Yaga, as they say.
Okay. Go for it.
And Paka Yaga. Perfecto.
Ba-bam. Well done.
Ooh, Riku going Enga. Now this is the Skirmish Fox, I think. Right? Oh, it is Enga. Oh, gave me credits.
Oh, are the letters close enough? Now it gives you some kind of fuzz so that you don't have to spell exactly and use the perfect umlauts on the equidon and so forth.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Riku's right. I think this is 2-0 for Riku because I put the Jaga or the Yaga. Oh, got me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many cards in the art bot will accept a different card's name because they're close enough.
Yeah, because they're kind of within a fuzzy search proximity, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever I forget what the metric is there for like number of letters change.
Edit using. Distance?
Something like that. Yeah. That's cool. But I appreciate that you have it there because I've gotten a couple Equidon ones and I'm like, well, I know the one. I got most of the letters, but I don't know. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, fun. Well, I think we've established Riku's prowess in Artbot games. Dang. All right, respect, Riku. Respect.
Yep.
But I know who to draft first for the Artbot Fantasy League, I guess. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna make a game in beginner, password sloppy, and it'll be a adaptive best of one, and I'm gonna take the Sloppy Labwork PV name deck.
Oh.
Sloppy Labworker of Astrogas Plateau. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we'll see. Okay, so we got the Rebels, indeed. Yeah, this is the deck you were talking about with Triple Clone Home. Super cool.
Yeah. It's very silly. Very fun.
I dig it.
Okay. I'm looking at Redemption. It's got some... I also say Growland, but I hear you on the growl. Growland. Growland?
My brain wants it to be Groland, but my heart wants it to be Groland, but when I say it naturally without thinking about it, then I say my heart wants it to be Growland, my brain says Growland.
Growland.
So if I just say it, I'm gonna say, oh now I'm all choked up. I don't know which one I want to say. I'd say Growland, I think, but I can get the growl totally.
Oh, look at the prophecies on this one. The hits. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yes.
Ooh, interesting. You can make a ton of tokens when they get rolling, it looks like. Rebel and Mars Needs Amber. Yummy.
Like this Logos pod too. Very much.
Mm-hmm.
Reverse Time is a card that I need a deck with to play around with. I usually play against it. Just take a swing.
Ooh, reversal match. Excellent.
Oh,
yeah. Reverse time's interesting, right? Because in some decks, it's like, oh, this is a super busted combo enabler, and in other decks, it's like I get to flip my discard pile over, and that's cool. Ooh, interesting. Okay, well, good luck and have fun.
Good luck. Have fun. Wait, I'm going to do this like Riku style.
Nice. Oh, who can say no to a turn one feeding pit? Seems good.
Okay.
I won't lie, I like this starting hand. It looks really yummy. Mm-hmm.
So wait, discard the top card. Well, we're doing it.
It's got to be Hams. Oh, fair game. Nice. Yeah, what a card. Fair indeed.
Oh!
To both of us.
Double clone home. Uh-oh, okay.
They're going to be rolling. All right, well, no surprises here after seeing the opener, I guess. Holy mama. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. And the shuffles.
And so we'll
Cool.
try to set back the Rebel onslaught.
I'm gonna try and do it some more. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exterminate was a card I had to play with and shoot myself in the foot with a few times.
Yeah, not optional, and will happily chew up your own cards, right?
Yep.
Totally.
What am I doing? Oh, sure. Okay.
Duck, duck, super duck. Cool. Well, it seems pretty good. Speaking of not optional things.
Yes. Speaking of not optional things.
Yeah. I
But you got
guess
the armor.
the armor helps a lot. Okay. Excellent.
Hmm. Um, Interesting. Well, let's archive the Cha, Skippy,
Ooh, cool.
and Zeph.
Excellent. Skippy can come up big against tokens. All right, Sanctum it is then. Okay.
I love playing this deck. It's so fun. All right. Okay, we'll go this. And hamstring you. And dark minion. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Killer.
Brutal. Six. It's a duders. Okay.
Well, here's the pathetic thing I had lined up to fight into a guy, make Infinity Drop live, but it's just too little, too late. And, yep, yep. Nothing's holding back the rebel tide.
Martians are coming. Angry Martians indeed. Yeah, them rebels. Oh. Oh ho. Okay.
And we just do a little thing like this. And that, that. Gain an emperor. And GG.
Okay. GG. Well, that was a high roll of an opener. Jeez, sorry. Nice one.
Ah,
Oh, this was a cool deck though. I love the geez, triple clone home. What a what an engine when it gets going. And just to have two in the opener was very fortunate.
it's so fun. One of them has a damage pip, and it's just like, yeah, lots of fun. That's a deck that needs a home. It needs a home. Adaptive. Here we go.
Yeah, it seemed. I mean, maybe this was only 62. And look, 5.4 amber control, 6.2 board control. So it's not like jumping off the page with stats. Yeah, but holds its own when it opens with double clone home and double vat minder with feeding pit.
Yeah.
Totally.
I wiped. I had the Tell No Tales in hand. I'm like, perfect. That's perfect.
Yep.
No, it was nothing.
When the Martians are angry, they show up in force and recover. Wow, very cool deck. I love the name too, Wildcat.
Yeah.
Urjo, Wildcat.
Yeah, that's what I say. Urjo.
Urjo.
And this one is definitely in the battle box.
This is in the battle box.
Yeah, this is like pull out hand people decks. This is the kind of thing that, like, if you're gonna say like, here's a token deck, like let's find one that's just doing token things, and you're not worrying about like, am I gonna archive the whatever, or sorry, tokenize something that I need? Like, you just play the Martians and do the Martians thing. Have fun with it.
Yeah, it gets definitely you're gonna get the flavor of the token making. Absolutely. Cool. So I'm curious too, like how many decks are in the battle box? Is it one battle box, multiple, one large one?
It's a I have my sort of strongest and favorite decks in there, but I think I've got about 10 or 12. They're like Coda, AOA, a couple Amber Skies. Like Marty in the Sanctimonious, like all the gang that love to do the like live blogging, like they open the decks and go through there.
Yep.
He had opened the Flint's package with Double Daughter and Cursed Relic and all this stuff that I was just like, what a fun deck. What a fun deck. And after he had gone to like play with the locals, he says like, hey, do you want this deck? Yeah, like let me buy it off you for like a couple bucks. So that's one of the is that literally the only deck that I've ever purchased? Maybe. But it comes to mind as like in the kind of power range, it's somewhere in the like middle lower thing, but it has all these different pieces and they're all fun and it's a surprise. Like a deck that's all about this one big combo, that's one thing. And then when it doesn't come together, it's a little bit of a feels bad. And then a deck like Wildcat or one of these other ones where you're being surprised by all the fun bits as they come up. And I love decks that have stuff like Double Dust Imp, Gift of Amber, and like you don't always get it, but when it comes up, you're like, oh, this is gonna be I love this. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see. I want the like 4 or 5 kind of sub things going on, and that if you picked up any of two of those decks and you sat down to play, like you're going to have a good time across the board in both directions. And I think that makes for a good like. Presumably, though, if you have Keyforgers, they're packing right. Like, oh, here's mine. But if you need it, I got some in the deck. I got some in the box.
Nice. And I think you inspired me just there for one to put into my battle box too. So okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. Sweet. Excellent. Well, fun one and good chat. We'll sign off on the stream here. Thanks very much, folks in the chat, for hanging out and go along for the ride. And we'll see you around the lab.
So much fun.